So this one, let me get my notes. This is not fireside chat if you're looking up at the board. We did a nice little pivot.
Next time we should bring a fire pit in here when we have our fireside chat.
So we're going to do an AI panel, and actually while everybody's starting to sit in their seats, in the last 10 minutes, since we're talking about AI, I just decided to put together a quick AI song on the summit. Let's see how it goes.
At the Hilton Bayfront Hotel, we set the scene. Captains and ships and Thames wild dream. Dogs on the chase, but we're laughing along. Bill swimming in the bay, that's how we start the song. Summit by the bay, where the sunsets glow. Piano bars close and the good times flow. From steak and swordfish to stories we tell, we're making memories we know too well. Nick's got the muscle tape, flexing on the floor. Luke and Bill posing like couples galore. Mark says conflict ain't a puzzle you can fix, and jokes our marriages are deep in the mix. Summit by the bay, where the sunsets glow. Piano bars close and the good times flow. From steak and swordfish to stories we tell, we're making memories we know too well. Jeff's plugging packets, shameless and proud. Trevor and Jimmy keep closing bars down. Party bus rolling with faces brand new. This family keeps growing. It's the best kind of crew. Summit by the bay, where the sunset shines.
A little glitch. It's all right. If I play it again, it'll go all the way through. That was just the first play. So that was just a real quick attempt. But you can see if I had put more time into it, if I had reviewed the lyrics, if I had made more fun of Jeff shamelessly talking about his podcast and which episodes to go to and things like that. And if you guys caught the Nick's muscle T and flexing, and there's just a lot that you can do with AI platforms. And so which is the reason of this. We don't know exactly how we're going to implement these things, but there are platforms that are popping up in different various ways. Okay, so first let's just talk about who we have up here.
Michael Sansone, Dealer Controlled Solutions, NJ Auto Lending.
My name's Nick Marcosian. I own dealerships in Salt Lake, Marcosian Auto.
Everybody knows me.
It's debatable.
Luke Godwin, Godwin Motors, I guess, or something like that now.
Thanks for making it formal.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Because if you're a viewer and you're watching this recording for the first time, you might not know who Luke is.
That's right. You never know. I'm a dealer consultant. Anybody need any help, I'm available.
Yep. He charges really inexpensive, like $50 an hour. So. All right. So first question, and there's no wrong or right answer. It's where are you currently using AI in your dealership operations, if at all? Michael?
Yeah, so we're using it in the sales department, BDC department currently for inbound leads, long-term follow-up, and engaging with our existing owner base. We're actually we're using it soon, next week actually, we're starting with the service as well. So we're going to do inbound phone calls using AI. It's called the Tomo, I believe. So.
We are using AI to monitor our phone calls. If it has some metrics that it measures, and if things are going off the rails, it sends an email to their supervisor and lets them know that this person might need some attention. And phones to me are like one of the most important aspects of our dealership. And it really hit home for me yesterday when Gene was talking about when your people go off the rails, they really go off the rails. And it's very, very important that you have some way to keep them on the tracks. And I think this is going to be really helpful for us, because then we don't have to listen to every single call, but we have that trust and security that if something isn't going right, we have AI to help us with that. We also are about to launch and go live on a AI that will help our inbound phone calls for collections. Things like promises to pay, simple, easy things we're hoping the AI can solve for the customer so we can lower our call volume. Call volume is just insane, and we'd like to get it under control, just so we can focus on, like I was talking to my collector yesterday, and they don't even have time to do outbound calls these days because it's just so overwhelmingly crazy on the inbound stuff. And so there's reasons for that. What is it that makes a customer think they got to call us for every little thing, And we've got to figure that out.
And what's the timing you're thinking to be able to hit that second phase?
I was thinking 2 months ago. So I hired a friend of mine to help me do it and research different models. And he found one, and then we found a hurdle. So we had to start from scratch and go to another one. And there are so many different models out there, and it's hard to navigate. But I think we found one that hopefully will work. And then I talked to him yesterday, and he's like, well, did you look at this one? Did you look at this one? Did you look at this one? And then I read an Wall Street Journal article, and there are tons and tons of young kids that dropped out of college, that live in Silicon Valley. They work 90 hours a week. They do nothing but build applications for AI. And so it's just crazy. It's booming. It's going to change our world inevitably.
How quickly do you think it's going to change our world?
I think it's hard to say, because does it really work? It sounds cool. It's kind of like autonomous driving 10 years ago. We all thought it was going to put us out of business. We all thought it was just a few years away. I remember Elon Musk said in 2020 everybody's going to be looking at their steering wheel turn, and here we are. So I think it's probably and then I read also that these companies know that AI can help them, but so far they're not seeing a big change in their bottom line due to AI. The dream hasn't come true yet. And like ChatGPT loses billions and billions and billions of dollars a year. They sign a deal with Oracle to buy billions of dollars worth of data storage, but how are they going to pay for it? Because they're broke and they have no, and of course in the long term they'll figure out how to, because it's just overwhelmingly popular. But I mean, it's just in the infancy stages, so it's hard to say. Could it turn out to be the internet, or is it going to be autonomous driving? It's hard to say.
It's definitely the internet. If you want to look at one way or another, if you dig deep into podcasts and go back and listen to Acquired or listen to any business building scenarios, and you start diving into how quickly the internet 10x'd every year and then 100x, AI is the real deal. And if you don't believe it is, just start using it. How many in here actually use it every day? Raise your hands. For those in here that aren't using it every day, you're costing yourself time and money. It is revolutionary, and I don't care what you're doing. I was talking to, and they're not here. I guess they may have had to leave early, but I was talking to some accountants the other morning, or the other day at the Padres game, and we're talking about how, or the world is talking about how it's going to eliminate jobs. It's not going to eliminate jobs. It's going to assist. So one thing that I have, a good friend of mine owns a CPA firm. They can't hire enough accountants and CPAs. Can't do it. Well, if you use an accountant-based or a CPA-based LLM application, it might can make one accountant CPA do the work of 5.
Well, just right there, though, you're going to be eliminating jobs eventually.
How are you eliminating
let's-
jobs because you can't hire them?
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about job elimination, because if you look back like 75 years ago, half of those jobs don't exist anymore because they've just transitioned into something
else, right.
Yeah, but the employment hasn't quite changed, so it's just the evolution of job change. And I think, Nick, to your point, there's all this big investment going into from big corporations on, just huge budgets into AI. And a lot of it is because the board looks at the CEO and says, you got to do all this AI stuff. And the CEO says, all right, put together a budget to the team. And they just are trying to spend money and do things, but they don't quite know yet. And so the real impact, we don't know yet, to your point.
Well, if you're not investing now, you're behind.
That's
right?
true.
If you're not using it now, you're behind.
Well, and part of it is just like playing with it.
Yeah.
So the illustration of showing the song is getting comfortable with how to use it quickly. Putting together a quick prompt based off of some fun activities and how to write it in a way that in a very short period of time could do something fun and playful. That turns into how to use it better at work.
Yeah, my dad's big into classic cars. Like he doesn't, he started buy here, pay here, and he knows zero about buy here, pay here. I ran with it, but he loves classic cars. And he and I are doing a 69 C10 truck right now. And it's about to go to paint, and we've been struggling with what color to paint it. So, what do? I go to chat and I go, these are the colors I have in mind. It's a 69 C10 truck. We want a mock-up of these 4 colors. And I took it to him. He goes, holy cow, well, how'd you do that? And I said, well, I use chat to do it. He's like, well, this is the color we're going to do because we're able to visualize it, right? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And that's just playing with it. That's all I was doing.
Yeah.
But I learned a bunch of different things while I was doing that.
So I want to come back to you, Michael, and like what vendors you're actually using. Like what are the real platforms and tools that you're using and why you chose those to begin with?
So DriveCentric is our CRM company, and so they have an integrated platform. I don't know what their back engine technology is, but it was a kind of out of the box platform, so to speak. But I mean, they have a great dashboard where you can see the AI in real time contacting customers, long-term follow-up. It's called Genius. They got a little notification section on the left where like, hey, salesperson needs to contact this person. They're requesting a price. This person, appointment set. I mean, when you see it working in real time, setting appointments, sending credit applications, handling customers, on the sales side, I just know when you think about like collections and long-term follow, like it's gonna come to our industry, and I think it's gonna be very, very beneficial for a lot of us here.
And is this on the DCS side or is this on the dealership side?
Dealership side. Yeah.
Can you share a little bit about, because I think with your intro it's a little bit confusing.
Yeah, sorry.
DCS versus
NJ Auto Lending.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So Dealer Controlled Solutions is a buy your, pay your, lease your, pay your DMS solution. We also have a leasing company that's a client of it. So NJ Auto Lending is a leasing company, and then new car franchises as well in New Jersey. So when I'm talking about the applications that we're using, it's more so on the franchise side right now. Mm-hmm. Started tinkering with it so our model, NJ Auto Lending, is we do 12 to 36 month leases with a refinance option, credit education, et cetera. So when looking at an AI solution, there's really no out of the box solution to really explain your program, the benefits, why customers want to do it. And I started working with, it's called Vertex AI, and really just uploading all of our PowerPoints, all of our training manuals, et cetera, into this bot. And really, it's amazing to see how quickly it can adapt and, explain the program, the benefits. Don't have anywhere to release it yet, but that is something that we're looking to release shortly.
So, what limitations are you seeing right now, based off of the new AI platforms?
Time and resources, really. I think the technology is there today as it sits, but it's really just, time to do it and actually put the resources behind it to say, hey, this is a project we want to tackle. This is the use case, documenting it, because you really do need to give it clear instructions to obviously perform how you want, but it's really just time at this point.
Me?
What are your thoughts, Nick?
I think that's a really good point. I mean, just where do I personally find the time to mess with it and learn more about it? But you kind of gave me an idea. I have 34 employees in Chihuahua, Mexico, collectors, insurance people, and so on. And
Wow.
They do a really, really good job. And I have one guy in particular that's just super sharp. He's really into technology and software applications, and I think he's starting to dabble into static pool stuff for me. And I think, man, that'd be a great guy to kind of put some of these projects on and see what he can figure out, how AI could help us more than what we're doing now. And so I'm starting to, the wheels are starting to spin.
That's an interesting point. If any large dealers in the room, people who have 50 to 100 employees, it's almost, you could almost see a singular position that's AI integrator, right? Or someone who's doing that, and that's their primary job, is to figure out how to take minimal task or menial task and automate it so that you not get rid of people. You may get rid of people, but to streamline processes so that the people who are doing those menial tasks can do more important tasks, like call your 30 plus or your 15 plus and let AI work the easy stuff, right?
That's exactly what we did. So for long-term follow-up specific, so we're hitting seven
nobody
days.
wants to do long-term follow-up.
No one wants to do long-term, so it's emailing, texting, and so we're doing 7 days hard on follow-up and then letting the AI do the rest.
And that's, if we want to talk about, the
So
leads.
you're dealing with the
Yeah.
people that are engaging with
That's
you
right.
versus, like
The
you said.
leads we're losing, and the leads we spend so much money on. If you're getting 300 or 400 leads a month for a typical dealer in the room, and you're only getting applications, let's say on 40% of those, and out of those 40% of applications you're only selling maybe half of those, right? You're forgetting about those 200 leads you got. Nobody continues to call them. And this is where AI really could be beneficial if used properly and monitored properly, I think. And I'm not sure there's any really good use of it out there. I know there's some companies that say they're doing it.
Yeah, I
Just
don't
know how
think
good it
there's
is.
great for follow-up on subprime customers particularly, because there's a difference. I mean, we're using it right now at the new car stores, and it's just a different tone. For us, like you want to be able to explain your because everyone's got a different program. You want to be able to explain the program, maybe gather steps, send a budget analysis, income assessment, et cetera. That's where I believe in the short term, it's going to come. I mean, I saw a couple of companies, I believe it's Neo actually, they're doing like step gathering, budget analysis and stuff like that.
I saw that the other week, and you can tell it's a very, very light version of it. And I think as it evolves, it'll be better, right?
Yeah.
But getting a lot of the time consumption in your BDC or your salespeople's job is that task right there of requesting documents, verifying the documents, seeing what their monthly net income is. And these are all things that AI can do. Probably better than our salespeople. Our salespeople, I had I had to build a spreadsheet for them to figure out monthly net income because they couldn't do it. And that seems ridiculous, right? But they couldn't. So, but AI can probably analyze 4 PDFs of their pay stubs, and boom, it'll figure it out for you. There's so many ways to use it that we aren't. We were talking about reconciling cash in bank. I use AI daily for that project.
So what do you do? You put it into ChatGPT without
So-
blocking any like names or like
So-
what do you do?
So
Just getting it out in the world?
I don't want to incriminate myself.
There's no
No.
incriminating with how you're using chat.
So my comptroller up and quit the end of March. And, you know, one of her major tasks is daily verifying that we have money in the bank and that the credit card, you know, coming in from the payments every day matches what goes into the bank every day, right? It is, and the undeposited funds that dumps from our DMS into QuickBooks. And so the way we like to do it, we like to break every payment down so that we can see if one payment of $484.62 matches the other side, right? And so the undeposited funds clears, the bank clears every day. And it would literally take half a per day to do this. I was like, there's got to be a better way. And I am not a CPA or an accountant. Don't even play one on podcasts. But I said, there's got to be a better way. So I take every day, BlitzPay will send me a report saying, this is the money that cleared and is going into your bank account today. The problem is it has an account number and an amount. It does have a name, but the names don't always match our names in our DMS, right? So I downloaded something from IDMS, shoved it in the chat and said, I need you to remember this document. This Excel spreadsheet, it's got an account number, a stock number, and a name. I need you to remember this. And it remembers it. So every day I take what comes in from Blitz, send it into chat and say, build me a spreadsheet I can transfer into QuickBooks. Well, something that used to take, you know, probably an hour takes me 5 minutes to do. So I'm doing the job of my comptroller now in probably about 5 hours a week. I was paying her 40 hours a week to do. I didn't rehire. We're going out of business, so I didn't rehire. But if I would have thought of this prior, or she would have thought of this, what would it have opened her up to do more in my dealership? Because I wouldn't have fired her.
So that's a really good, I think, transition into the next question, which is how do you get engagement or buy-in from your people? Because everybody handles change differently. Some are early adopters, some are laggards. And what are your thoughts on how to do that with your teams, or how are you doing it? Go ahead, Michael.
So for us, I think it's just showing them, showing them the results. Like I said, we use DriveCentric, and I believe they have an unbelievable dashboard. It's in real time. Like, you're seeing the AI reaching out to customers engaging with it, setting appointments, et cetera. So showing them how it can benefit them versus, hurt them. They're like, if you could, handle 100 leads, say, in a month, and now you can handle 200. So I think it's just going to benefit the employees, and really showing them the use cases and the efficiencies that I think that's how you get them bought in.
Do you get any resistance from anyone at this point?
Yes, yes. So in the beginning, definitely a lot of resistance in the sales department, but just using it, being persistent. It's not going away.
Michael, was the resistance because they thought it were going to take their job, or the resistance that they just didn't understand how to use it?
I believe people were scared,
Okay.
to be honest. I do believe that, but like I said, we haven't had any people leave or haven't fired any or let go of anyone using it.
Every time you listen to people complain that it's going to take jobs, but then you listen to the business side of it, it's just going to increase production.
Exactly.
And if you increase revenue, with the same amount of people, it's a win-win for everybody because your gross profit, your net and gross profit is going to go up.
So do you make commitments to your team and say, look, this isn't a job replacement situation. This is a try to not add headcount situation.
You got to sell it to them that way, and you got to show them real value in that, right? And that, say, we went from, a gross profit of, let's just call it the service department. We went from gross profit of $100,000 a month, but because we're using AI to help us with efficiencies by building our tech schedule every day, or helping us with a hard diag or something to that effect, we were able to produce $120,000 next month, and we didn't add anybody. Does everybody understand how this works and how every technician should be using it, or how the service writer should be using it? I think.
Never thought about that for the techs.
Yeah, if we can demonstrate these things.
My techs use it to diag problems constantly.
Wow.
They get a lot out of it.
It's
Yeah.
more beneficial for techs in most cases than the stuff you're paying for.
What'd you say?
It's more beneficial for technicians in most cases than
Yeah.
the diagrams that we're paying for. It's insane.
In other words, like we're paying for all data, or we're paying for, and nothing against AutoZone sitting in the room, or on demand, or whatever we're paying for. We can use all that data. The more data we give, chat, the smarter it is.
So on the tech side, is it like a diagnostic tool like you would use in a medical situation where you're like, here's what's going on with
Yes,
the car,
that's
here's
exactly-
what I'm seeing.
that's exactly
What
right.
are the likely possibilities or likely issues?
Yeah, I mean that's how we've used it on something that is out of the ordinary. Hey, all this has gone on. We've done all this, and we feed all the data into it.
Mm-hmm.
We've done all this. We've done all this. We've replaced these parts. We still have this problem. What are we missing? Now, sometimes it gives you a bunch of garbage, but sometimes you just need to think outside the box. I think Mark was talking about yesterday about how you use it with team plus AI, right? And that's essentially what we're doing because we've already teamed it all up.
Luke, we've started reverse engineering that, and instead of throwing parts at something and trying to do the diag, we put the problem in first.
That's a lot smarter than what I just said.
Only because we were doing it the way you were doing it, and we found out it'll give stats like in 7% of Chevy Tahoes, this has been reported, and that our technicians would never see that in most cases because we're not a Chevy dealer, and it's 7%, right? But we have found those small little quirks that pop out from AI or ChatGPT or whatever we're using, where that's the first thing they go to, and that's the problem. So it saves all the diagnostic time, saves throwing parts at something and throwing their hands up and calling the budget in Chevrolet. It's already there.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be way better to use it instead of firing the parts cannon like we often do.
So from a practical standpoint, do you have like a corporate GPT account, or everybody has their own? Are you paying the $25 subscription to get a little bit higher?
I
The
have
$200 a month?
I'm not paying the $200 a month. I have my own personal account, and then I think everybody has their individual accounts. But it limits it at a point. And so if typically if something gets all nutty like that, they'll start asking me because I do have 30 plus years of tech experience. Car automotive tech experience. So I'm our quasi master tech after the master tech, which is not fun to be in. Anyway.
I think it accounts for the service department if you actually have a full service department at value.
Mm-hmm.
You just feed all that data that's fed in.
Same account.
It just builds and
Yeah.
grows, and you don't have your.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, that is a great idea.
For the service department alone,
Mm-hmm.
it's next level.
Yeah, I like that idea. And apparently, I've not done this a lot, but you can take your service calendar and stick it in there, and it'll help you design the workflow so talk about feeding data in, you feed every tech's data in there. What they've done, their historical numbers, and it will build each day a workflow plan that meets the shop's. It just integrates everybody's strengths and weaknesses. We're working on that. We're just still not there yet on the production of that.
Their corporate versions of ChatGPT that are really not that expensive. Kevin or Murray, do you know about what we're paying for ours? And it has like a firewall to it that allows us to put confidential information in. And I mean, it's really not material.
I think it's about 200 a month.
Yeah.
That's
and how many
cheap.
of us are using it? Like 6 or 8?
I think 10.
10?
That's super
It's
cheap.
cheaper than
That's super cheap.
individual accounts.
Wow.
I saw some article, and I was explaining to my dad, actually, like how powerful this is. It's as if you have at your fingertips the smartest person at the brightest college times 100 at your fingertips. And you really just need to embrace, like, you need to let yourself, I guess, let go of your ego and start using it, asking it questions, and you'll be amazed on really the results that you get from anything. From, I've done employee reviews, like what are 5 great questions to for a great employee review, or to hey, here's our termination report and here's all the leases we've written. Just put in a bunch of data. Like, do you have any correlations between our repossessions versus our what we call conversions? It's really amazing what you can get out of it when you just start using it.
I've also used it. I take a lot of notes, and sometimes they're incoherent, right? It simplifies notes very well, and I would even encourage you, if your collectors want to kind of start engaging, if you can download the notes from somebody's account and upload it and say, hey, do you see any trends of how this person pays, or are we missing something? Are they always telling me their mother dies? Like, ask all these questions so you can get an idea of each customer and how maybe you should treat them. Will definitely help your collectors, be a psychologist to some of these, accounts that are tough.
Yeah, I use it often in sales meetings. I ask them. I tell them what I am. I'm owner of an in-house finance dealership, and the biggest objection that we have is they have no money down, and it'll give you a whole bunch of lines, and you can role play with ChatGPT. And it gives you just this top-notch responses. And every time my salespeople ask me a question about an objection, I have them pull out ChatGPT, and it comes up with a great answer.
So it's phenomenal, and I'm curious, based off of what Mark said yesterday about AI making us dumber, is that contributing? Like, is it more important to utilize it for those types of scripts and strategies, or in the short run, or is it better to think through it critically with your team?
For me, scripts are a roadmap, and they're for beginners. It's like when you're learning anything, when you're learning how to walk, it's very slow. You have to be conscientious about every muscle, and you're going to fall about 1 million times, and then 2 weeks later, you're not even thinking about it. And it's the same exact way with learning a new script, overcoming objections, everything. And that's why so many people give up so quickly, is because it seems so hard and so daunting at the beginning, but then you learn and it becomes easier and easier, and you just have to encourage your team to get through that hurdle, get through that initial hurdle. That's why we're here. We're here to motivate them and coach them and help them not give up hope. And I think ChatGPT can really help you build that foundation.
It's so right. Like, sometimes if I'm, wanting to write or build a session, sometimes it's just so hard to get started. And just that little push of saying, hey, chat, or whatever you're using, I really would like to do a session for car dealers on this subject. Do you have any ideas? And sometimes that little spark can send you off. And that's that's so important to get your salespeople going, get your collectors going, to train them something. And I don't think it's making us dumber. I think it will make you smarter if you use it wisely.
So it can be too much of a crutch for some people and a trampoline, a springboard for others.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like everything, I guess.
Yeah. What questions do we have out here? if any? Go ahead, Mike.
So, for those that have 20 group experience, when we go to the 20 groups, somebody comes in with this great company, this new fine thing to do, and we're all screaming across the room, what's the name of that company again? And how do we know, what's the email address, the phone number? So, Mike, we're listening to this, and, my head's ready to explode thinking of all the possibilities here. But particularly on the lead follow-ups and even collections. But you don't have a name to give us and a phone number, right? It's too premature to ask that question.
Well, on the lead follow-up is we use DriveCentric. That's our CRM, and they haven't.
We don't have DriveCentric.
I don't know.
I think there are plenty of.
I think there's a lot. I mean, there's Impel, there's Podium.
Neo's doing it. I mean,
Yeah.
it
Magilip
seems like
is
there's
doing it.
seems like there's a ton of.
I don't know of any that's doing it in this particular space, like where, on the, I guess, deep subprime space.
In 2 or 3 years at the conferences, and we're going to have all kinds of people there.
Well,
I
you know,
agree
you
with
went to
that.
the NIADA place and they're AI,
Yeah. But everybody claims AI, and most of them aren't, right?
Well, the vendors are in the same situation that we are. They're like, we got to apply AI, and so they're still figuring it out. And sometimes what they're saying isn't quite what they're delivering because they are not even sure if they can deliver it yet.
One application that I'm aware of, which I shared with Nick yesterday for collections, was Skit AI is one. We started working or integrating with them. It's not complete yet, but they have you can go on their website, and it looks like they have a pretty robust collection agent for Skit AI, SKIT.
I was going to say the big limitation where us
Jeff?
you hear me? Okay. Dealers that are handcuffed is the integration of AI comes on the application level.
Yeah.
So we need the vendors to either have open APIs to it, which they're very scared. It's still like the Wild West. They don't know if the data's leaking out. Or we have to be with vendors who are willing to innovate AI in because like I use IDMS, right? I can't get an AI agent to interact with IDMS. It's not possible, right? They don't have the open API. There's no connection. I can't use it to search notes or harvest. So I'm stuck with this clunky process of downloading the notes out and then uploading it and then So until you have more companies like these, Podium and Neo and some of these guys that are willing to start pushing that boundary of integrating AI in at the foundation level, we're kind of stuck, unfortunately, of really getting the potential of what these things can do for our businesses.
I agree with that.
It's putting pressure on the vendors, the software providers, that hey, if you want to stay relevant, you've got to have these components in there because it's going to make us. We bought it. We need you to buy it.
I think that's in the meantime we have to develop the application ourselves around what we have, and you're right, it's clunky and it stinks. But Jeff and I talked about this many a times that it's how many different DMSs are used in this room. I mean, honestly, there's probably 10 different DMSs, right? You go to a new franchise conference, and there's 3, maybe 2 or 3. 4 max, right? And there's probably 2 that dominate. And I mean, that's a real problem in our industry that we're missing out on these really innovative products because it's hard to innovate across 10 platforms or 15 platforms.
What I'm looking forward to is, hey, chat, can you build me a DMS with
Wouldn't that be
account
great?
integration?
So speaking of that, there's a company called Replit AI, replit.com, and what it does is it allows you as the user to come up with whatever software platform that you can envision through normal language. So you don't need to actually code. And you just start giving it these prompts, and you can use ChatGPT to help with the prompts and not the coding. And you watch it generate the coding, and then you publish it. And you can, the more that time that you spend in, you can create your own dashboards that integrate with your own software platforms. It does have firewalls and things like that allows people like us to just say, this is like how I imagine it being, and then you test it.
That's exactly. So I use a platform called Claude, actually,
Yeah.
and I was showing Nick
Yeah, it's so
yesterday.
cool.
I mean, you can, like I said, for me, I think we're lucky that we have a DMS platform that we actually use as well. And so when I'm talking to our developers and saying, envisioning where I think the industry is going and what I think would be great for us to build, I can, I've already done that work, and I'm showing them a product that, hey, I think, like for the underwriting piece, like, hey, this is what I'm envisioning for our AI underwriting dashboard, so to speak, or this is what I think we need to have for a collection module, so to speak.
Yeah.
So that part is huge. It's easier said than done, though. I mean, it does write the code, but you actually still need to implement it into the existing software. So it's a little bit harder than it sounds, but it does give you the visualization of, hey, this is where we want to go.
But I remember years ago with, talk about 20 groups, when the NIADA was trying to build a new composite, right? And it took almost 2 years for them to build a composite.
Well, it never happened.
It never happened, right? And today, I mean, just think about this. Today, if you and I decided today, Tim, that we wanted to build a composite using AI, how could we have it done by the end of the day?
We'd have it done by noon. And we'd
Exactly.
have a song to go with it.
And, that's right. And a song. And colorful graphics.
Yep.
But it took them 2 years and like $100,000 to do it. And we can do it before lunch for $200.
All right, so as the end of the session, I want each of you to give like 15 or 30 seconds of recommendation to everyone else, and that might even be a recommendation to yourself. I'm going to start with Luke.
I think we've already talked about these recommendations, but use it. I mean, just freaking use it. Anything you can think of. One easy application for owners out there: go sit down and interview every one of your employees. I'm talking about every one of them. And type out a paragraph or two of notes while you're talking to them. And explain to them you just want to get to know them, right? And figure out what's good about their job, what's not good about their job. And once you're done with that, put it into chat and let them analyze your notes and give you your blind spots on your employees and try to improve upon it, because I think you'll see a big difference in morale of your employees, and also how you could use your employees better or improve their job by changing something that's just very minuscule.
Nick.
I think I need to start talking about it more, and I need to start encouraging them to use it a lot more than they are. I'm thinking about endless things that take us, like the daily deposit, 10 pages of cash receipts and stuff. How could we, let's just ask chat. I am a clerk at Marcosian Auto, a lease or pay here dealership. We take in a lot of cash, and it takes me an hour and a half to do this. How could I speed it up? I mean, just stuff like that. And I think that could really get us in the habit of using it. I also like the idea of signing up a corporate account, especially for service. And then every single meeting I'm in, if I am not demonstrating a way to utilize AI or talking about a way to utilize AI, I'm not doing the job. And so, like I said, I mean, someday if we're not doing it, our competitors are slowly going to be able to get rid of that one lot tech, get rid of that one clerical person, and before you know it, they're selling vehicles at a much cheaper overhead than we are. And so I think it's just critical that we embrace this technology and figure out how to use it in our companies.
Michael.
Yeah, I would just say, really try it. There's a lot of different technologies other than ChatGPT as well, whether you're building presentations, whether you're writing a song, whether you're writing code. Just honestly, you can Google it and you'll find, whatever you're looking for. But I would just say use it, and you'll be amazed at what it can do, honestly.
I'll tell you the other thing. I think he's a little bit younger than me, and I think that young people have a different whole take on it, and they're much more integrated into technology than we are. And I think that we've got to get young people involved in helping us get better.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll add, I think repetitions. So for you and your team, and to remove any barriers, or just make it really easy to use, whether it's providing paid for accounts or fun little steps for using it, or little, any little programs to normalize it and just keep practicing.
The paid for account is $20. I would recommend everyone paying for the account and get a lot better experience using it. You can put in huge files.
Better memory.
Yeah.
I love the idea of like a monthly contest with your employees. Hey, who simplified their job using AI this month? And give,
You give a good bonus for
give
that.
a $500 bonus. I don't care what you're giving,
Yeah.
but man, I bet there would be a lot of innovation that
Yeah.
that could help your whole dealership doing things like that.
Yeah, I think you're right. All right, so we're going to break.